Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. My name is Rob, and today it's going to be my version of a week in review. So the real reason that I say it's going to be my version of a week in review is really because I have more than a week's worth of news that I actually would be able to catch up on. I've been really slow with putting videos up on Rule of Two Review lately, so sorry for any of the people out there who get excited to see my videos, which are usually coming quite a few a week. I've just been really busy, typical kind of stuff. I did recently have a chance to start my Evil Within playthrough, which I was really excited to do. I figured out the video Let's Play format, and I've been wanting to do a lot of that stuff. Super excited about the Evil Within. You're actually watching a bunch of gameplay of that right now. And that whole thing has just been kind of a disaster. As I mentioned on my Part 1 playthrough that is up and available right now, I had issues with the sound recording of the first two parts that I did, which were really, really awesome. I was super happy with how those all turned out, but I couldn't actually get the final product to be postable, so I had to restart it from part of the way through the game and just do Part 1 at that point, kind of a redo and a catch-up, and it's just been really, really hard to get that going. I wasn't as happy with how Part 1 turned out, but it was still really fun to do. I do anticipate still putting 3 parts up, but right now I've actually got some family staying with me at home, so I'm not really able to set myself up the way I normally would record my Let's Plays, so it's going to be another week and a half or so before I can get any more of that up. So I've kind of just decided screw it, and I've been playing through the game a little bit more. For what it's worth, the game is really, really good. I'll go more in detail, more in depth at some point later, but I'm enjoying the game quite a bit. It definitely is fulfilling my theories that it was going to be not so much a scary game, just a pretty good action horror game, and it's just that. It's great for that. It feels like Resident Evil 4, Shadows of the Damned, which is really interesting because Shinji Mikami worked with Suda51 on Shadows of the Damned, and you can feel kind of a Suda51 vibe in the Evil Within. So it's a really cool amalgamation of Shinji Mikami's Resident Evil history and also what he did with Suda51, and you can sort of feel both presences in that game. So not super scary, but still a really good game. I am enjoying that. Also, excuse me, this is tough because honestly, there actually has been a lot of news for me to talk about lately, the last couple of weeks since I've done consistent news-related videos. There's, of course, the frame rate debacle and the resolution debacle with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Unity and what they're doing with the PS4, Xbox One, and I think the PC version's even thrown in there with that controversy. That's a whole big hullabaloo. And everyone had been talking about it, and I've talked enough about Ubisoft lately, and they just keep shooting themselves in the foot with everything that they're doing. They're really on a bad roll right now, so I don't really know how things are going to turn out for them. They keep making a lot of stupid mistakes and pissing off a lot of gamers. They started by pissing off Nintendo gamers, and now they're pissing off everyone else. So I just don't really know what's going on there. And so many people were talking about it that I really didn't want to get too involved. I have some opinions on it, but at the end of the day, it's like, whatever, man. I won't really be playing the game. I feel like resolution and frame rate, it's super important, but it's not like the most important. I care about the game and the gameplay and the platforms they're released on first. The resolution and all that stuff, whatever, that comes later. It is important, but I don't get as into it, so I don't get to make that many videos about it. It has been relevant news, so people have been asking me to talk about it, but I don't really know that I'm going to make a video on it. And now it's a couple weeks old, so whatever. The other big thing, and this is the only time you'll ever hear me bring this up on a Rule of Two video, the other big thing that some people have brought up to me has been the whole Gamergate thing, which has been making serious news and a lot of headlines, and people are really invested and really passionate and emotional about this whole thing. There's been a lot of really nasty, shitty things going on regarding the Gamergate thing and Anita Sarkeesian and what started off with the, what's her name? Zoe Quinn and that whole thing from like a couple months ago, man. And I don't know, man, it's a big deal, and I totally get why people are into it. It's just not my thing. That kind of thing is not why I care about video games. It's not why I have Rule to Review. It's not the kind of subjects and topics that are interesting to me. I care enough about it to at least be following it and knowing what's going on. I want to make sure people are safe, so I like following that aspect of it because this thing has turned really dangerous the past couple of weeks, which further exemplifies why I can't waste my time giving a shit about stupid things like this. It does have a level of importance, so I certainly support anyone who does want to get passionate about it and is fighting for the right side of the cause. So if it's your thing, then I definitely understand why, and I support your right and your passion about it, your right to be passionate about it, I should say. So if it's your thing, awesome, more power to you, have fun with that. It's not my thing. Rob, at Rule of Two Review, me, I will not talk about it more than this. I made the mistake a couple weeks ago. Well, I shouldn't really say it was a mistake. I guess I stand by this. But I made one tweet where I mentioned that people have wanted me to talk about it, and I'm just not interested in it. I think that both sides have a bunch of wrong things happening. There's a lot of people to blame here, and so that's another reason why I just don't want to get in the thick of it. It's impossible to stay neutral. So, and when I made that post saying, hey, it's not my thing, if it's your thing, whatever, but I just have no desire to talk about it. And then I got a little bit of responses saying, oh, if you talk about it, then you're invested and you're on, and now you're part of it. And I was like, nope, I didn't even respond, and I left it at that. So I don't know, man. It's just it's the more negative, evil, mean side of gaming, and I don't care about that. I don't want anything to do with it. So that's why I haven't made any videos about that. I don't want to talk about Anita Sarkeesian or Gamergate or journalism and all that stuff. It's just not my thing, and I just care about video games, the actual games that I buy, purchase, put in my systems, and play with a controller in my hand. That's the stuff that interests me. These kinds of controversies, they don't directly relate to video games. Like, honestly, even the Ubisoft thing does. The thing is resolution and frame rates and what decisions companies make with the platforms and things like that. Those things directly relate to video games. So those controversies, I have a stake in, and I care about, and I will talk about them when they're interesting to me or when I have enough of an opinion about them. But again, in reiterating this whole thing is because of the mean side of what's going on. It all started with just journalism and then people being shitty people and bomb threats and stuff like that. It's like, nope, not my thing. So like I said, if it's your thing, whatever side you stand on, awesome. You have fun with that. It's just not going to be my thing, and you won't hear about it on Rule of Two Review. Okay, so now that I got that random weekly catch-up out of the way and I talked about some of the negative things about gaming, I want to talk about some of the great things going on with gaming right now. Two specific subjects revolving around two specific games, and I'm really excited about this. First and foremost, I want to talk about Bayonetta 2 because Bayonetta 2 has been getting off-the-charts amazing reviews. This is like being treated like the equivalent to the next Spielberg Oscar-winning masterpiece film. And man, I couldn't be more excited. A lot of people are excited for Bayonetta 2. I've been excited for Bayonetta 2 back when I played the first Bayonetta on the 360 and really hoped for a sequel last gen. And then, the whole rigmarole and the path that game has traveled, and it became the Wii U exclusive. Nintendo, I think they own the rights to the IP as a whole. That's what it seems like. It's almost a Nintendo property right now. I don't know the full details. If you do, share it below. Something like that. Regardless, they have paid for Bayonetta 2. So that is only a Nintendo game, only on the Wii U. And of course, I'm excited for it. I made a video showing my Let's Play of the entire demo, which came out a week ago. The game looks so great. And what's wonderful is now that the reviews have been coming in, it's been getting almost better reviews than anyone even could have expected. I mean, the first game was nominated for Game of the Year way back in 2009 and 10 when it came out. And Bayonetta 2 seems to be following suit, but all accounts say that the game is better. It's right now sitting at a 91 on Metacritic, and there's been a lot of perfect 10s. The most notable and high-profile perfect 10 has come from GameSpot, which notoriously is very, very harsh. I've never been a big fan of their reviews because they review a lot of great games very low. People can complain about other places like IGN or Game Trailers or whatever, and I really like those guys. I support them. I usually agree with their reviews, and even if they have a different opinion on a game than I do, they just feel like they still justify it. So they really haven't made me mad in a long time, both of those sites. But GameSpot, they tend to do that, and it's really exciting to see a game that I and so many gamers are so excited for get the first perfect 10 in 4 or 5 years. I think the last one was Mario Galaxy 2, which was 2010, so I guess 4 years ago, if my year is right there. And I don't know if they've given a perfect 10 since. I thought it was Galaxy 2. Maybe, I don't know, probably Grand Theft Auto 5? No, because that was just last year, so I heard it's been longer since they've given one. Anyway, so yeah, that game is just getting amazing scores. We've all known it's going to be great, especially the folks who are Nintendo and Wii U gamers and the people supporting Operation Platinum, like I have been. We've believed in this game from the get-go, and most fans of the original have believed in it. There's a lot of people getting in the whole, that you were so mad at Bayonetta 2 and now it's getting all these great scores. Are you mad, bro? And stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know. That's not my thing. Hey, a great game is a great game. I'm excited to be able to play it. I am all about all of the current gen consoles and PC and portable gaming. So I don't really care what platform things are coming out on. I don't want to, throw mud in people's face. It's what I know some people will do it, and there will be people talking shit about Nintendo and Bayonetta 2 and all that. And now, yes, you can technically rub this in their face that this game is scoring so well, and they're probably sad they can't play it, yada, yada. But I just don't really care if they're mad or not. I'm just glad that I get to play the game. And anyone else who has a Wii U should feel very glad and lucky that we get to play the game. And thanks to Nintendo for scooping this property up and making sure it didn't die a miserable, quiet death. Anyone who's played the first game, again, like I have, I've played through it entirely 2 times. Anyone who's played that knows that this game needed to be made. And I do stand by my theory, and I made a video about this before as well. I'll post it below, where I think that because this game is kind of controversial, coming out exclusively on Nintendo's Wii U system, that I think it's going to help it perform better, because the first game notoriously did just barely okay. It reviewed phenomenally. Sales-wise, it did just okay. It honestly probably should have done a lot better. That game is a masterpiece. So now here we are with the second game coming out only to one console as opposed to two last generation, and there's a smaller install base for the Wii U now than there was for the 360 and PS3 in 2010. There was freaking 80 or 90 million PS3s and 360s out at the time. There's only 7.5 million Wii U's out right now. So, but I do feel like this game is going to do extremely well, and I think it's because it gets special attention being only on the Wii U, and people are a little bit more aware about it, and it has more buzz, and now all these great reviews, just forget about it. I think it's going to do really, really well. No one has to worry about the future of Bayonetta. Platinum Games has been very vocal about how much they've loved working directly with Nintendo. They said it improved their development big time, and I'm so glad to see these scores, because it basically, proves that and justifies the truth of that statement. So there's really good things happening with that game. It's a great time to be excited for Bayonetta 2. It's going to be wonderful. That game comes out this Friday. I am recording on Monday, October 20th. It comes out this Friday, the 24th. It's just a couple of days away. I'll be posting a lot of footage and, talking about my thoughts on the game, of course, after it comes out. So, Bayonetta 2, amazing scores, potential game of the year, just like a lot of us had hoped. So really, really excited, and hopefully you're excited for the game too. So the other big piece of news and game that I want to talk about has me really, really excited and also a little bit confused, and that is going to be Sunset Overdrive. So the reason I'm excited is twofold. One, because I think the game looks frickin' fantastic, and I love Insomniac games, and I love what they're doing with this game, the style, the humor, the gameplay, the level up point system. It's going to be that kind of quirky experience that, exemplifies why I typically love Nintendo games. This looks like the kind of fun that Nintendo infuses into their games. And like I've always said, even though Nintendo is my favorite company for those reasons, it's just the good games that I like. And if you take the same fundamentals and game making ideas and put it into a game, even on another platform, I am fucking down. In fact, I am so down that just yesterday I finally reserved my Sunset Overdrive Xbox One bundle, which does mean that next week I will finally have an Xbox One, which is why I'm also very, very excited. I actually wanted an Xbox One more than I wanted a PlayStation 4, but I did pick up the PlayStation 4 because of the Destiny bundle, and I've been happy with that. There aren't really a lot of games still to play on the PS4, but it is a good system. I can see potential when good games start coming more frequently, and I like the system. There just isn't a lot to play right now. But the Xbox One has a lot of stuff that makes me excited. And Sunset Overdrive is one of them, not to mention the Master Chief Collection. I really want to play the Killer Instinct version that's come out on that. Ori and the Blind Forest, oh my god, I would buy that game just for that. And then, of course, Sunset Overdrive. So there's, 3 or 4 games. And Titanfall, I'm going to pick up Titanfall. So there's like 5 games that initially, right away, are going to justify my Xbox One purchase. I did buy my PS4. I got it for a multi-platform game that is available also on 3 other systems. And although that game is great, I'm one of the few people that loves Destiny to death. It's like the only game to play. There really isn't anything else that's making me too terribly excited to play on the PS4 right now. That'll change soon enough, and Little Big Planet 3 super pumped for. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, I'm really glad to be getting an Xbox One next week. I'll finally have all 3 current-gen consoles. I think Sunset Overdrive looks amazing. The weird, kind of depressing thing about this is the game doesn't seem to have enough hype. I do think that it's great and very smart of Microsoft to have released an Xbox One bundle with this game. So that's going to hopefully help sell more Xboxes, as well as, raise the hype and the awareness of this game, assuming that the reviews end up being really good, which I'm really hoping they are. I assume they will be. I think the game looks freaking awesome, but you never know until you know. For all we know, Bayonetta 2, which looked like a perfect 10 game, might have come out and just got a bunch of 7s and 8s, and it turns out to get a bunch of 9s and 10s. So I'm really hoping that Sunset Overdrive could follow the same suit. I know I'm going to like it. It's just I can look at it and tell that provided it's not broken to control and the controls are just awful and prevent it from being a fun game, then I know I'm going to love it. And so, I don't know, it's just, yes, the bundle is great, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people are talking about it, and it should be a game that Microsoft is really, really pumping and should have people excited for the Xbox One. I mean, the PS4, for example, the Wii U has a lot of exclusive games coming out that justify its purchase. The Xbox One has a lot of games coming out to justify its purchase. And the PS4, which again, I love, and I love Sony and the PlayStation, so I'm not dissing them, but as far as holiday 2014 goes, other than Drive Club just came out, and I hear it's just okay. It's not bad, but I hear it's just okay. And then, oh my gosh, Little Big Planet 3, which is the game that I would be buying a PS4 for if I didn't already have one. And that I'm so excited for that game. But other than those two games, I mean, anyone out there who can think of something I can't think of, what other exclusive game is coming out on the PS4? I know that I'm going to be getting Dragon Age and Call of Duty on that, and I did just pick up the Evil 1 on the PS4. The Evil 1, the Evil Within on the PS4. But I can't think of any exclusive games this year except for those two, Drive Club and Little Big Planet 3. And I think that that's sad. There are great exclusive games coming. Bloodborne in the beginning of the year. Holy fucking shit. So excited. But again, that's next year. That's after the beginning of the year. So I feel like what's really interesting about the gaming industry now is the PS4 is the one doing so fantastically well, and I'm glad for that. But it's also the system that has the least great exclusive content. It has some really good multi-platform games, and those do count and they do matter, but I don't think nearly as much as exclusive. So there's a lot of reasons to buy an Xbox One and a lot of reasons to buy a Wii U. There aren't a lot of reasons to buy the PlayStation 4 unless you just love Sony. You know, I mean, it doesn't even have a freaking YouTube app on it. Seriously, I keep using my Wii U for that and my last gen systems, but you can't even do that on the PS4, which seems silly, and I guess that's not really important, but it kind of shows that they're actually more behind the curve than I think a lot of us initially thought. So anyway, again, I'm getting sidetracked because I do that. Long story short, Sunset Overdrive looks great. I am so excited to have my Xbox One next week. I traded in a bunch of stuff, so I'm barely going to pay anything for it. I really hope that game does well. I hope that Microsoft has a really strong holiday. I know that Nintendo's going to. Microsoft, I think, has the potential to. Sony, I don't really know. They may end up coming in third as far as all that stuff goes. So I guess we'll just kind of see come this holiday. But yeah, I hope that Sunset Overdrive gets a lot more hype. What do you guys think? Are you excited for Sunset Overdrive or not? Do you think that it has the right level of hype? Do you think that it'll do well or not? I'm really curious, so share your thoughts below. Okay, and that's it, guys. So thanks for tuning in to this video. I know it had been a while since I've gotten consistent stuff up, so really fun to kind of do again, my version of a week in review, which is really a couple weeks worth of news in the beginning, and then some information about two specific awesome-looking games coming out pretty soon. So what do you think about all this stuff? Please share your thoughts about all these things below. If the Gamergate thing comes up, please just don't be too mean about it. I'm not even going to hashtag anything about Gamergate. I don't want to go near it. But if you guys want to talk about it, just be fairly nice. That's all I ask. So yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Of course, if you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe to Rule of Two Review, like and share the video, and share your comments and your thoughts about all this crazy stuff below. And I, of course, will catch you guys on the next video.